Join ESPN Radio in making holiday magic by donating a toy, Toys for Tots, at espnradio.yougivegoods.com. Dan Orlovsky said something there. I'm glad the Browns have made Shedeur their starting quarterback. Not to mince words, but he's starting this week. Is he their starting quarterback? He should be. They should just name him the starter.
Well, if he's not the starting quarterback, then the guy that is the starting quarterback is not on the roster. That's how I look at it.
Not on the roster, not on the active roster.
Not on the roster, period.
So it's not Dillon Gabriel?
No, Dillon Gabriel's not the guy. I keep telling y'all this. Dillon Gabriel's not an NFL
Oh, that's
quarterback.
not who I was referring to.
Oh.
I was saying, if you're saying that there's another quarterback, I thought you meant Deshaun Watson, who's now back with the team on the road, serving in that on-field guidance role. I just...
Yeah, but we were told by Dan Graziano and others that Deshaun Watson is likely not going to play this year.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to take the reporters at their word when it comes to that situation.
Sure.
I don't know if that means Deshaun Watson won't play for the Browns ever again, but I've taken him off the board in terms of the equation that is starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns.
Do you believe that a guy like Shedeur, who is very much self-motivated, do you believe it's better for him to feel like he has to earn the job every week now, or better for him to mentally have the job for the rest of the season and be given a little bit more of a window?
I think Shedeur is a mentally tough guy. Basically, assigning him the starting quarterback job, what I think it does is it creates an air of enthusiasm within the rest of that locker room, within the rest of that team, where guys can feel better about the state of affairs on the offensive side of the ball. You saw the juice that the Cleveland Browns had as a team in Las Vegas. They were excited. They were literally fired up when he uncorked that bomb to Isaiah Bond and then the off-schedule throw to Jerry Jeudy. Those are plays that you haven't seen in the Cleveland Browns passing game all year long. It's been a long time since you can say the Cleveland Browns had 3 pass plays of 39 yards or more. They had explosives. That element is in their offense now. We know they can run the football, but now you're talking about them being able to push the ball down the field. It gives you hope. As a former defensive lineman, I will tell you, when I see my quarterback has the ability to be able to do that, all of a sudden now, I got a little more energy. I got a little more juice because I got hope that our quarterback can give us more than what Dillon Gabriel was giving you, which is, 5-yard checkdowns when there were completions in the passing game. Shedeur Sanders gives you a different air around that team. And labeling him the starting quarterback moving forward, I think is going to benefit every single phase of the Cleveland Browns, not just the offense.
Or just devil's advocate, does it then keep Shedeur, not that he's not motivated, but motivated week to week to continue to lock in? And does it also motivate the other guys on the team to continue to play at that high level for him? To say he's giving us this juice, we feel more confident in him under center. If week to week we don't know if it's going to be him, let's go out there and make sure we leave it all out there so that he's going to be the guy moving forward.
Well, I just think that the quarterback is capable of making winning plays now. It's not like the defense has to be great. We all understand that. But the defense now has a little more margin for error because the explosive plays in the passing game help you overcome mistakes. And I think that's the part that is understated when it comes to the situation with the Cleveland Browns. They couldn't throw the ball down the field. Dillon Gabriel literally could not throw the ball down the field. Like when it comes to throws of 10 yards or more, like he was dead last in the NFL during the span where he was starting 6 games. So you now have a quarterback in Shedeur Sanders that's going to give you that. Now, are you going to have to deal with growing pains? Absolutely. The pick that he threw to Charles Snowden, that defensive end dropping off in the coverage, it was a zone pressure. That's just something that he's going to have to learn on the job. That's new for him. You don't see those types of schemes at the collegiate ranks very often. So I do think that it will be uneven, but you have seen progress from his first regular season game action to his second regular season game action, from the second half against the Baltimore Ravens to what we saw against the Las Vegas Raiders. And I'm excited to see how he builds on his performance in Week 12 going into Week 13 against the San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah, those practice reps and game experience helped.
It's a completely different animal, and he talked about it a little bit, Smalls.
Yeah.
He talked about it. The speed of the game is different, and it takes some getting used to. You got to make the adjustment. But as he gets in the game more, as he has the game plan more tailored to his strengths, it does a couple of things. Number one, he's going to get acclimated, but the other thing is that the players around him are going to get more comfortable working with him. So I do think the best is yet to come this season for Shedeur Sanders, and we shouldn't be surprised if we see exponential growth from him.
They're in a very unique situation for a myriad of reasons. So when you look at the Cleveland Browns, their defense is excellent, as we know. If you look at their 2025 draft, one of the great drafts we've seen in the last 10 years in terms of how many guys that they got that are good players, okay? In addition, we also know that Dylan Gabriel's play will not prevent them from drafting a quarterback next year. They have 2 picks. Remember, they have Jacksonville's, which is 22, and their own, which is 6 right now. But could Shedeur's play prevent them from drafting a QB next year? And I think what the goal should be, and this may become a new thing in the NFL, is when you think of bridge quarterback, who do you think of? Or what type of quarterback do you think of? If I say to you, a team needs a bridge quarterback, or is going for a bridge quarterback, or has a bridge quarterback, what kind of player comes to mind to you?
A guy who's serviceable, who can get the job done, but it's never going to be a controversy when you're ready to go with your young rookie.
Okay, so age-wise?
Yeah, veteran guy.
Veteran. I think that we may be trending towards the young bridge quarterback. I actually don't know that the goal for Shedeur right off the bat needs to be become a superstar. It needs to be good enough to be the bridge quarterback to then become the superstar. How do you do that? All of the picks they have, loading up the entire team where it makes it easier to actually perform at the highest of levels. I don't know that San Francisco thought Brock Purdy, bad day to do this, but I don't know that San Francisco thought Brock Purdy was going to become a superstar quarterback. I think they probably thought as a rookie or second-year guy, he's a pretty good bridge quarterback for us until we find the guy. Oh, wait, he is the guy, because they were able to load up the rest of the team with all kinds of great players. If Shedeur Sanders can be good enough to be a bridge quarterback, that allows them to use 2 first-round picks this year to help him. Make his life easier. Think about Tyler Shuck in New Orleans. I think he's a young bridge quarterback. I think they drafted a second-round bridge quarterback. He's not the guy of the future. He's not a superstar quarterback. So I think when you look at this, let's change expectations slightly. Could Shedeur become a superstar? Sure. Does he need to right off the bat? No. What he needs to do is be good enough to be a bridge quarterback so they can use 2 first-round picks to make someone a star quarterback.
So what does that look like? What is the bar?
Okay, so double the touchdown, 2-to-1 touchdown interception ratio. Let's start there.
Okay.
Right? So, I don't know. How many more games do they have? How many more games are you going to play?
They've got 6 more games.
6 more games.
Yeah.
So
he's got to play all 6 of those games.
12 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. I mean, that's kind of where I would go on that. And I think I would look at it that way. We'll talk to Dan Graziano about that. Plus, he was there for the big middle. Harthy is now in concussion protocol. Now, to my knowledge, correct me if I'm wrong, there was not a moment in the game where he blue tented it, right?
No, the Vikings haven't pinpointed the exact play.
So he's on the plane on the way home. Which is not a long flight, obviously, from Minnesota back to Wisconsin. I'm sorry, from Wisconsin back to Minnesota. He reports to the coaches or training staff or whatever it may be that he's not feeling well, concussion protocol, and now he's in it, which means it is more likely than not he is not going to play in their next game. Kevin O'Connell, their head coach, had this to say about J.J. McCarthy and what exactly happened to him.
Obviously, with the independent, a couple independents and the medical staff and everything, there was not one particular. We're looking into it as I know we all will. It had to be late, based upon kind of how the game went. But no, there wasn't one where I think even JJ can pinpoint as of right now.
Smalls, you all summer, I don't know if you want to say you were glass half full on this or half empty on this. Maybe it's more so about the J.J. McCarthy stuff. You kept saying, this is weird, this is weird, this is weird. What's going on? Why are they half in on Rodgers? Why are they not taking themselves fully out of Rodgers? You raised the red flag all summer long on this one. Do you feel like I hate to say it this way, that you were vindicated in this regard? It's awful to say, I get it, but
it's still an incomplete picture because of all the time that J.J. McCarthy has missed. But I was saying over the summer that the situation felt a little sus to me. Why weren't we hearing more about J.J. McCarthy in Minnesota? Why was Aaron Rodgers waiting to go to Pittsburgh, and why were all these rumors swirling that part of the reason he was waiting is because he wanted to see what happened in Minnesota. We got those reports from Adam Schefter about his weight. We just didn't really know what was going on, but they stayed convicted to him. He's their guy. Then, of course, he misses time. But this is interesting to me because they can't pinpoint the exact play in which J.J. McCarthy potentially sustained a concussion, and he's obviously dealing with those symptoms. But this is coming off the worst start of the season for him. He completed 12 of 19 passes, 87 yards, 2 interceptions. He was sacked 5 times against Green Bay. He now ranks last in the NFL in most quarterback statistical categories, including QBR, 24.8, completion percentage, 54.1, and touchdown to interception ratio, which is 0.6. So I don't want to say that I am vindicated because I was more posing the question,
right.
What is going on here? It's not like I was saying there's a J.J. McCarthy problem. I was simply saying that there's a lot of gray area happening in Minnesota. But for a guy in Kevin O'Connell, who we have said is the quarterback whisperer, and he can get it done with anybody, Kirk Cousins, Sam Darnold, potentially Daniel Jones, even though DJ didn't get a lot of reps there. He was still in the facility and has been having success in Indy. We expected more from J.J. McCarthy, and it has been up and down, to say the least, with more down than up, CC.
Yeah, I mean, listen, J.J. McCarthy's just not seeing the field the right way. I mean, there are just a couple of plays in this game where you're scratching your head and you're wondering, why isn't he pulling the trigger on the throw? I mean, case in point would have been in the third quarter. You got 1st and 10 on your own 34-yard line. They have the screen set up to Aaron Jones out of the backfield with C.J. Ham as the lead blocker, and J.J. McCarthy holds the ball. It's supposed to be a quick throw. Micah Parsons beats the offensive tackle on an inside move, and J.J. McCarthy takes a sack. That's not a play you should take a sack on. Just throw the ball. It's designed to go to the running back in the flat. It's completely inexcusable. Yet you have these moments like this where Kevin O'Connell is dialing it up and J.J. McCarthy, for whatever reason, won't pull the trigger. I don't know if it's because he's struggling, he's in his own head, he hasn't seen the game enough. I can't give you the rationale. All I can tell you is Minnesota made a big bet that this guy was going to be ready in time to take advantage of what otherwise would be considered a championship caliber roster. And they have been proven wrong by how J.J. McCarthy has played this year. Now, you have to take into account the injury that he suffered early on that stunted his development. But why this is egregious on the part of the Minnesota Brass is because they had to know that J.J. McCarthy getting hurt in his rookie year and not having an opportunity to sit and learn behind veteran quarterbacks like Sam Darnold, like Daniel Jones, on the practice field was going to impact the version of him that you would see this year.
And the version of him that you gotten this year hasn't been great. How concerning is it for Minnesota? He misses all of last year. If he sits out this weekend, he's missed as many games this season as he started.
Yeah, the injuries are concerning. And J.J. McCarthy is not a big guy either. He's not short, but he's not big. I guess that's the point that you have to acknowledge. So the injury is another aspect of this that becomes a bit uncomfortable and should make everybody in Minnesota squeamish. But if the Vikings' plan was to redshirt J.J. McCarthy when they drafted him in 2024, I'm not sure why they felt like they should have put him on the field this year when he didn't have a true redshirt season last year. Because it wasn't like he was practicing last year. He was recovering for an injury. So my point is Minnesota should have viewed last year as year 0 and this year as year 1. And if you were planning on redshirting him when you drafted him, then you damn sure should have had another quarterback option for QB1 this year. And they didn't. And that's on them and nobody else. That's why veterans like Justin Jefferson and Harrison Smith, those guys are well within their rights to be frustrated at the current state of affairs with their team.
Best point that has been made about J.J. McCarthy that I've heard is right there. They actually did not accomplish their intended plan last year, so why have you changed the plan? He should not have played this year. Because there is a huge difference in what you just said. The idea of being injured and not taking reps or not practicing with the scout team or anything like that, that is the best point that I've heard made at all season about J.J. McCarthy. The intended goal for the Minnesota Vikings did not take place, and they had 2 years for that intended goal to take place. Think about that. They wanted him to redshirt. He didn't last year because of the injury. That was an IR, not a redshirt, so to speak. And this year is a play when you're not ready. And I get the feeling, and I could be totally wrong, but let me say it this way: it would not surprise me if they cut their losses. If you told me they drafted a first-round QB this year, I believe it.
Oof.
I actually believe that Indy is actually maybe more of a long-term hope for their young QB in Anthony Richardson than Minnesota is with J.J. McCarthy right now. Like Anthony Richardson, while he's hurt, I actually think has a shot to one day mature from on field. Off field he seems fine, but mature on the field because of the time that they're putting him on the bench. And they're going to sign Daniel Jones long term.